Look, I know this story has been beaten more than a redheaded stepchild, and I can say that because I am ginger. But today's show, I hope to provide you with something completely different. I hope to have a different take than things that you've already heard on the internet before. See, I've been scouring the internet on this story all day long. I've been finding out more information, and the rabbit hole continues to make this story even more disturbing than it really is. Just on face value, this story is absolutely disturbing. But as the rabbit hole continues, and I continue to look more into what actually happened in this story, the more angry you should be. Our empathy towards criminals, towards repeat offenders, excuses for evil, is literally killing all of us. Especially those like myself that live in inner cities, and I don't know if you're like me, that you live in a major city where you have DAs and people that aren't prosecuted and thus ruining crime statistics and crime numbers, as we are told by every Democrat that crime is actually going down if you look at the statistics. Why does it seem like it's not going down? Maybe because it's not. Maybe because a lot of these things aren't reported. Maybe because a lot of these people that are repeat offenders, they don't actually have a criminal record because they get squashed. A Ukrainian refugee who literally flees from war. A refugee that left a war scenario, came to America to escape and find safety, was stabbed to death on a Charlotte train by a man, a black dude, who has 14 arrests. 14 different arrests. Why is he even out of jail? Why is he roaming the streets? Why was a violent repeat offender even walking free? Why does our system continue to protect predators instead of the actual people that they prey on? I will show you how the media ignored this story. I will show you how politicians ignored this story. I will show you how a judge, in a lot of ways, is part of this crime, if you ask me myself. They ignored a black man murdering a white Ukrainian woman. The same people that put a Ukrainian flag in their bio to show their support for Ukrainian refugees. Until something like this happens and they all pretend like it's not even a thing, because in their mind, in their ideology, crime is fine. It's not a big problem that we should even discuss or even talk about. Because the racial optics don't fit their narrative, and therefore we shouldn't actually talk about it. Hey, we don't want to actually show these videos or talk about crimes like this because then it'll perpetuate racial stereotypes. Because we have to have empathy about this sort of thing. This is the same media that turned Jordan Neely into a saint. Can't even whisper her name. Why the double standard? Why does our media keep information from us like this? Why does our media keep silent on stuff like this? You know, things that actually happen and affect you and I. You know, I can't remember. Sometimes I think about all these stupid stories that the media reports on. Like, I don't know, those kids that were in Florida that decided to burn skid marks on an LGBTQ flag on a rainbow sidewalk in Florida. God, there was like 100 of those stories. New York Times was even talking about crap like that. You know, things that don't actually affect us. And if you're in the gay community, if you could be honest with yourself, you would also know that that story has no implications on your life. But taking the public transportation and a deranged individual who's been arrested 14 times and have done violent offenses and is out just walking about, that should be on your top priority because, you know, safety from being murdered should be the number one thing. He took out a knife and stabbed her in the middle of the train. And people don't know how to react when that stuff happens. I like all these people, all these insane people online. It's like, well, I would have done something. You wouldn't have done nothing. a dude walking around with a knife, and what do you have? Maybe if like 20 dudes jumped on him, that would be a different story. This is a classic liberal playbook, though. When someone does evil, we're told we should be empathetic towards these kind of people. You know, I even hear these crazy stories myself by libtards everywhere of like, how does a man like that become so violent? What's his real story? Did the system fail him? Or his parents around? Maybe we need to add more money to these community centers. If we just add more money to these community centers, you know, a lot of this stuff wouldn't actually happen. Yeah, I'm a smug liberal. I don't actually think about things. I'm just rich, and I just want to give you the honest truth. I don't want to, the disingenuous truth. I don't want to like actually get down to the bottom of these sort of things because it might break some stereotypes and it might break some biases that I have within myself. When someone actually kills somebody, we're told not to villainize him. Even the mayor of Charlotte is worried about you and how you view this violent criminal. We're told to change our language. This isn't a homeless person. He's unhoused. He just doesn't have a house. If we just get this guy a house, he won't do these sorts of things. Things will get better. If we just give this man a house, things will actually become better in America. It's just racial segregation. It's these red line districts. It's something like that. I don't know. I'm a smug liberal. I'm a little bit more bigger thinker than you. I know you just want to have police walking around everywhere, policing everything, and making things worse for these repeat offenders. That's what we really want. Their focus is on our language. Their focus is on us exposing this video. We're told to compare acts of violence to cancer as if stabbing a woman is the same as brain tumors. Do you even buy that? Do you think this is compassion? Do you think what we're seeing in our major streets today is compassion? Because it feels like I'm being manipulated. It feels like I'm being lied to. The mayor's logic makes the killer the victim in this circumstance, which is absolutely insane. You know, that's the trick. Emotional manipulation 101. It shifts our focus away from the innocent woman who lost her life to a poor, misunderstood man who is just got a lot of stuff on his mind. How freaking twisted is that? And I can't be more clear about this sort of thing. This wasn't some one-off tragic case that just came out of nowhere. I mean, the dude assaulted his own sister. He was a habitual felon under the North Carolina law, which should have meant years in prison, but instead a judge handed him, and this is the craziest part, a judge in Charlotte, in North Carolina, handed him a written promise to let him loose. Do you promise to be a good boy? Do you promise this time it's different? Do you guys even feel safe knowing violent offenders can sign a piece of paper and walk past you on the street? The truth is simple. Compassion without consequences isn't kindness. It's suicide. And right now, it's killing us one victim at a time. And if Democrats and some of these leftards could actually be honest for a second, if they could actually be honest for a second, they would also agree with you saying our cities are not safe. Crime is a problem. And stuff like this is a problem. And it's even more of a problem that if you were to point out that this is a problem and their first thing to jump to is, let's not share this video. Let's have compassion for this evil person that's psychotic. You're being manipulated. You're being gaslit into your own. So if you experience these sorts of things in the subway and the media's response is, let's have compassion for this violent offender, that's f***ing nuts. That's f***ing nuts. That's nuts. Welcome to the show. I have so many receipts to go through today. I have like receipts from the mayor. I have receipts from the judge. I have what they look like. I have stuff about Wikipedia. I have stuff that from Axios that got put out. If you don't hate the media, after today, I hope you really do. Because I say this a lot on this channel. The media will use your dead body for a story that fits their narrative way faster than actually making you out to be a victim of a horrific crime. And they will lecture people like me and you that push this narrative that black men in subways or repeat violent offenders are actually horrible human beings. This guy just struggled with mental health issues. Yeah, but his mental health issues actually killed someone. So maybe he shouldn't be out walking around in public. Call me nuts or crazy. I don't care. Something needs to change, and you're going to be pissed off about some of these receipts that I have tonight. I have scoured the internet. Let's have some fun. I have some funny stuff, but a lot of it's pretty serious, and I can understand if you want to check that out and you're done with this story. Welcome to the show.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go let the world
Trust the government.
She sent in a little video for us. Oh. Here she is.
Hey, in spite of everything you've heard, and let me just make sure you all know that it's actually me. Say, it's me.
Anti-woke.
Anti-woke?
Suck on this, Biden.
Would we the all
Folks stepping on them because that's black.
I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid.
Honestly, that's like the craziest thing. Like a liberal would look at a picture like this. So this is the 14 times this dude has been, this is the 14 times this guy has been like caught. And each one of his freaking mug shots, it's like a little story of like starting. This is how he started, and then he kind of grew. He grew into an adult, and he looks more surprised each time. And look, oh, right there. Oh, and then he got a haircut. He grew it back out, and every single time he looks absolutely nuts. I mean, a liberal will look at this picture and be like, you know what? If we just had more funding in our major cities, things like this wouldn't happen. Every problem for a liberal is fixed with just more money. If we just throw more money at things, will be better. Swill, thank you so much for holding this down. Thank you so much for being here. It's the culture. This guy is nuts. Okay, the more you look into this guy clearly has psychotic issues, and the fact that these judges just let this guy roam free is even more nuts. It's absolutely sick. Pity is not empathy, 100%. 100%. Yeah, they just feel sorry for these people. He had a bad life. Yeah, I'm sure he had a bad life, but you know who also had a pretty bad life? Probably that Ukrainian chick that was escaping the war that came here and got stabbed in the neck. Now, there are some videos and pictures that I will get to that people are bringing up about this Ukrainian girl. It's like she almost deserved it, which is absolutely disgusting and psychotic. As troops in Chicago, as a Chicago native, I say bring the troops. Yeah, me too, man. Dude, I would love to one day come back to Chicago and be able to roam free, because that downtown Chicago is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life. My favorite thing to do when I lived in Chicago was I would take this double-decker bus tour. Even when I lived there, it was like a touristy thing, but you go on the top deck and you just kind of go through the city. You kind of look up at how beautiful the architecture is. Amazing. Such a fun thing. They all look the same. Yeah, they do. 50 Shades of Gay. Yeah, 50 Shades of Gay. 50 freaking Shades of Gay, dude. Disco's favorite intro is back. I found it. That was just for Disco. So that was just for Disco. Okay, I mean, parts like this when it comes to this story, you're hearing these thoughts about this judge. And honestly, I'm putting like 99% of the blame on this judge.
Emotional damage.
This judge allowing this dude to consistently go out, and the fact that he promised he would return back for the court hearing. Judge Therese Stokes And this is the judge. Oh, it looks exactly how you pictured. So this judge allowed this repeat violent offender out. He's gonna be a good boy one day. If you y'all just messing around. He gonna be a good boy one day. You just trust me on that one. He gonna be a good boy on that one. He'll be a good boy. He wrote me a promise note. What's up, Pepe? Judge Therese Stokes released DeCarlos Brown just months before he stabbed Ukrainian refugee Iryna Zarutska because he wrote a written promise. According to court documents, Stokes decided to release Brown because he promised her he would return for his court hearing. I swear to God, I'll be back. Brown had been arrested for the misuse of the 911 system and claiming he had, I mean, this is the craziest part. So his recent arrest was misusing 911 system and claimed that he had a man-made material in his body and demanded an investigation. I wonder if he took the vaccine. Jeez. Misuse of 911, saying that he had a man-made material in his body. What's up, JR? Prior to his incident, he had been arrested 14 times, including robbery with a dangerous weapon and physically assaulting his own sister. So this judge looked at him, a repeat violent offender, 14 times arrested, was like, and did horrible things to his own sister, was like, you know what? This guy needs to be out walking around. Give this repeat violent offender some walking around money. The man needs some walking around money. And the craziest thing too, like, I like Charlotte. I've been to Charlotte a bunch of times. I grew up in South Carolina, so I would go to Charlotte for great music because they have great music venues and big bands would come through there. And when I was from a small town, South Carolina, in Charleston, not as many big bands would come through. And so I had to go to places like Charlotte. Charlotte's a beautiful place. It was always very clean, and it seemed very normal. But over the years, Charlotte has slowly gotten worse because of Democrats. It's a huge surprise. Matt Walsh says the mayor of Charlotte blames the savage stabbery of an innocent woman on mental health disease, which she says should be treated with compassion. That's right. Look, I know he killed somebody. I know he was in on public transportation, didn't have a single conversation with this lady, and just stabbed her in the back and walked away acting like nothing happened. But we should have compassion for him. Man-made sounds like bro cooking. She says that this man should be treated with compassion in the same way that we treat cancer. Mental health becomes an excuse for all human evil. This has always been the intention. The psychiatric industry is a plague on mankind. See, this is where I disagree with. I would say yes, the major portions, but there's a lot of people in this industry, a lot of people that work with mentally ill people, that will tell you that a lot of us hate the industry and they hate the people that are in charge. But not everybody in this industry feels this way. A lot of us can see this and say, this is absolutely evil. This guy should be institutionalized. This guy shouldn't be walking around. Her quote is, "We will never arrest our way out of this issue, such as homelessness and mental health." Yeah, so what do? I love libtards. Their answer for so much crime in the world is like, there's nothing we can do. What do you want us to do? I don't know, add more police officers and do more arrests, and maybe lock up some of these repeated offenders, not allowing them to come out. I don't know if they are schizophrenic and they're walking the streets and doing drugs. Maybe they should be institutionalized in some place because they're actually a danger to themselves and other people around them. They're like, oh, don't say that. Don't say that. That would actually fix issues, but that's a very harmful way to do that for these people. You need to treat them as human beings. What about the human beings that are victims of these human beings? The mayor of Charlotte goes on to say, mental health is a disease. Just that, a disease. Well, if it's a disease, they can't actually cure themselves. If this is truly a disease, he can't actually cure himself. So what do you do with that? You don't allow him to walk the streets. I'll tell you that much. A disease like any other that needs to be treated with the same compassion, diligence, and commitment as cancer or heart disease. Exactly. This guy that went on this bus and killed this woman on the neck. This individual right here, it's like somebody with heart disease. It's like my grandfather with prostate cancer. He just needs his balls repaired. He's got cancer in the balls. He needs to get his balls checked. Make asylums great again? I know, exactly. That would be great. Yeah, if you guys don't mind smashing a like on this video, put in a comment below. As always, it helps the algorithms out. I really appreciate you guys for doing so. Okay? And this is the mayor of Charlotte. I mean, need I say anything more? The mayor of Charlotte is literally holding her hand on her chest crying. She's literally crying in this moment. She's just like, oh, when I become the mayor of Charlotte, I'm gonna let all the violent criminals out. They're gonna be able to do whatever they want. They're gonna be able to do whatever they want. These violent criminals, we need to be treating them with the dignity and respect that they deserve. And there'll be one day a violent offender that is arrested 14 times will go out and kill a Ukrainian refugee, and no one will talk about it because of people like me. Freaking nuts, dude. These people are nuts. Another DEI. Dude, it's just Charlotte. It's just Charlotte. These stupid liberals. Having compassion for the homeless. We need to have compassion because they're unhoused. It's a mental health disease. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then we go on. I think things that get even worse for me is not only how people are responding to this, and they're not responding rightly, and not having an actual conversation to make things better for you and I. People like the media, and again, like, you don't hate the media enough. Like, you need to hate the media more and more every day. These people are evil. They're disingenuous. They lie all the time. They'll lie about your death in order to make a narrative-driven news story over your dead body. They don't actually care. People like CNN, horrible human beings. Here's Brian Stelter. Somehow, the potato head has come back to CNN. And his main gripe with all this information being passed around about this poor, innocent, homeless, unhoused, mental health issued young man is that people are actually sharing this information, and it's going to create narratives that they can't spin.
Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime.
I mean, this is the kind of shit, and I apologize. I'm sorry for my vulgar language, but this is the kind of shit that like really pisses me off. This is the kind of shit that like really genuinely, honestly makes me so angry that this is the talking point. You know, this is the talking point. The talking point is, I can't believe Charlie Kirk and his little minions would make it out to be this story. The minions pounced on this story. Charlie Kirk and his minions pounced.
Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime.
Because it is. This is a symbol of big city crime. This is a symbol of crime. A repeated offender that's been charged 14 different times with 14 different mugshots, that has violent criminal history, and is out walking the streets because he promised to come back and get to court the next whatever day or so. This is the problem.
Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. We heard President Trump asked about it yesterday when he was heading home from New York City. He didn't seem to know much about it. He said he would get briefed, and then today, Trump did know all about it. That's exactly what has happened here. This story has trickled up from local news to social media and now to the president's attention.
No. This is what actually happened. There was one story, local news. They didn't even talk about the race of the guy. They didn't talk about who the guy was. They didn't talk about how he was a repeated offender. And they didn't talk about how the girl was a Ukrainian refugee. They were just saying a man went into public transportation and killed a woman. That's all they talked about. And then social media got a hold of it, and social media got pissed off because they were like, hey, how dare you not even talk about who this person is? The history behind this guy, everything about this guy. We're pissed off because you guys shove down stupid stories down our throats all the time, but this is actual real stories and real crime that should be talked about, and you're dead silent on it. So don't give me that Charlie Kirk pounced on this. And what he's trying to say, which makes me even more angry, is that he's like mad that these white supremacists jumped on this story because a young black male decided to commit this horrible crime.
Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. We heard President Trump asked about it yesterday when he was heading home from New York City.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to know much about it. He said he would get briefed, and then today...
He didn't seem to know much about it. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff going on with Trump. I wouldn't say that as like a narrative. That's his way of saying, this is why we shouldn't be talking about this story, because even Donald Trump doesn't know about it.
Trump did know all about it. That's exactly what has happened here. This story has trickled up from local news to social media and now to the president's attention. And it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol.
Oh, it's being used. Yeah, people are using and abusing this story. Yeah, it's being used. It's being used. It's some kind of bias. It's some kind of narrative they're trying to drive. If you don't hate these people enough. Raul says, I stopped watching MSN to get my facts from people that people like me. Thank you, Raul. I think that's what you meant. Same here, it says, well. Brian wants to taste Chris Christie's cream stick. Dude.
MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments. And
MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments. Yeah, what are libtard media calling for? Do nothing. Have empathy towards this violent offender. Maybe add that to your story. You
symbol with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration.
Yeah, you would think a multiple repeat offender should be incarcerated. He shouldn't be walking around. And if he has mental health issues or he is actually schizophrenic and crazy, he should be institutionalized.
I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist.
Oh, right. You know why they're racist? Because you refuse to talk about the race. But when it's a white guy doing it, that's all you freaking talk about. This is called reaction. Whether it's correct or not, you be the judge. But this is a reaction due to people like your reporting and politicians that pretend like these kind of stories aren't actually real. So why don't you spare me with your bullshit? Spare me. Stelter is just distracting and misdirecting on purpose. Oh, 100%. And this is why I add this. I hate these people so much. He's deflecting, he's misrepresenting, he's going off. Yes, there's some people that are just talking about how we need to get black, it's a black thing. It's their blackness that forces them to become like this. Sure, they're like those crazy, and I do have a clip of that. But for most of us that are not insane, our thought process is a repeat offender constantly gets let back out in the streets, and we're told instead of to be angry and say maybe this guy definitely deserves the capital punishment, their response to us is, you need to have empathy towards this individual. That's crazy. That's crazy. And we're tired of being gaslit about it. And so now you're having a reaction that's over the top because of people like you.
Attention, and it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration. I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist.
Whoa.
Stoking fear of African.
Baldly racist. Okay, I saw you guys picked up on that. Baldly racist. Baldly racist.
Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist.
Come on, man. You can't just say stuff like that without me laughing. JR says, Derek, I'm insane. Talk to me. Why? How are you insane? I need to know. I need to know if there's insane people in my chat.
Some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like X today, it's eye-popping. But there are also legitimate questions about this so-called career criminal, someone who had been a repeat offender. And those questions, I hope they're not lost amid all of the cesspool kind of comments on social media.
Yeah, don't actually notice, the race at all. Because you know what? If you were to notice the race, you might have to address issues within that community. The problem with them and us not noticing the race is this. It will ruin everything that they've been fighting for their entire lives. It will ruin the narrative that cops are just out for black people. LeBron James saying, my son can't go out and about in LA without being frisked or I'm worried that my son will be shot by police officers during BLM riots. I mean, you saw that countless time by these rich celebrities that live in these gated communities. Your son's driving a Beamer. Your son's driving a Ferrari. They'll be okay. Ain't nobody pulling those people over anyways. They're pulling people like me in my crappy truck. Because I look like I have drugs. Nobody cares about that sort of thing. Jared says, because I believe the average black is 70 to 85 IQ, and that leads to low impulse control and violence. You know what I think, JR? I don't think it's an IQ thing. I think it is... I think that would be too easy. I think it's a lot of things, man. I think it's the culture in politicians, like the judge, allowing for this kind of shitty compassion towards violent criminals, and also political figures and leaders in their community and community abroad that pushes their narrative that they have every right to be angry and to use their anger, and anger is justified because they've been scapegoated and they have been the victim their whole life. And if you have a victim mentality in your life, if you believe that you're the victim of everything, your emotional regulation is incredibly poor. If you believe you're the victim of everything, anything that crosses your way or stops you or hurts your pride, you have the justification in doing any kind of violent act you want. And so they're encouraged to be violent because they've been wronged. They've been wronged. And I think it's like a multitude of things. I think it's a multitude of things. But I can understand your point, JR. If the shoe fits, statistics are statistics. Yeah, exactly. Statistics don't have feelings. Stelter has a punchable... I can't stand that piece of shit. Yeah, me too. I understand though. I understand. Enabling psychopaths in 100%. With a Chucky costume in the trunk, exactly. But Donald Trump's response to the whole thing is proportionate. Donald Trump says, I've seen the horrific video of the beautiful young Ukrainian refugee, which he's married to a Ukrainian, okay? So I'm sure he has a little bit of a soft spot. Obviously, we need to ship them more money and weapons. Saying of a young Ukrainian refugee who came to America to escape the vicious war in Ukraine. and was innocently riding the metro in Charlotte, North Carolina, where she was brutally ambushed by a mentally deranged lunatic. The perpetrator was a well-known career criminal who has been previously arrested and released on cashless bail in January. Cashless bail is a big thing Donald Trump's trying to get rid of, so I see why he put that in there. In January, a total of 14 different times. What the hell, he says. What the hell was he doing riding the train, walking the streets? Criminals like this need to be locked up. The blood of this innocent woman can literally be dripping from the killer's knife, and now her blood is on the hands of Democrats who refuse to put this bad people in jail, including former disgraced governor and wannabe Senator Roy Cooper, 100%. North Carolina and every other state needs law and order, and only Republicans will deliver it. We'll see. Additionally, where's the outrage from the mainstream media on this horrible tragedy? You won't find it because it doesn't fit their narrative. It's the same. This thing is the same exact reason why you don't hear stories about the violent crime in Chicago that happens every single weekend. Black on black crime. They're not going to talk about that sort of thing. They don't want to talk. That doesn't fit their narrative. That's not helpful for them. It only encourages this horrible stereotype. And they're worried about the stereotype more than they're worried about facts. It's absolutely insane. Wait, Melania is Ukrainian, isn't she? Is Melania Ukrainian? Yeah, she's she's Slovenian. From Yugoslavia. It's all the same. Oh, I'm a freaking public shame me. Shame me in the chat, right? Shame. Put shame in the chat. Put shame in the chat. I mean, Yugoslavia. I don't know why. I don't even know why I said she was Ukrainian. Oh, I think it's just because she talks about Ukraine a lot. And there's always that story of like Trump saying that another video of something that happened in Ukraine. I apologize. Potato. Yeah. Eastern white. Derek W. Okay, but Matt Walsh goes on to say there's a lot of people on the right who don't even want to talk about the racial angle of these crimes. The racial angle I take of these crimes are that these repeat offenders that are black are allowed to come out and their crimes are reduced. They're allowed to walk out and about because there's like this weird empathy arc. You don't have the same empathy towards white men who commit these crimes. And they do it because they feel like they have to do it because back in the day, black men would receive harsher sentences. So now that they have like this weird justification that like, okay, now I'm going to pay these white men. I'm going to pay them back. I gotta pay back. That's the angle that I go with. It's only like an inch difference in the map. Yeah. Here's Ukraine over here, and there's like... Matt Walsh says there's a lot of people on the right who don't want to talk about the racial angle of these crimes. Here's a fact. I told you that a person was randomly butchered on the train, and when I asked you to go guess the race of the assailant, you would guess he's black, and would be correct nearly every time. It's just the simple reality. We all know it. There's a very obvious pattern here and well established over the course of many decades. And the dividing line is not between those who recognize it and those who don't. We all recognize it. Yes, 100%. And I think, honestly, for me, the honest angle for me, if I see a dude with his hood up in public transportation, if I get on a train, which I've ridden public transportation almost my whole life until the last few years ago, I've grown up, I've got my own car. If I see a dude that's leaning in a window with his hood up like this and with big dreads like that, I'm not sitting by you. I'm not going to sit by you. Now, if it was a black dude in a suit, I don't care. There's like those comedians, those black comedians. He said the only way for white people to feel safe around you is if black people get around and you drink Starbucks coffee. He said that for some reason, when a black dude has some Starbucks coffee in his hand, you trust him. And I can totally see where that's from. So if he had a Frappuccino in his hand, I might think twice. I might think, you know what, this guy he's probably doing okay. Maybe a PSL in his hand or something like that. But if you're leaning on the window like that, I am not sitting anywhere near you, dude. And let's just be honest. Those of us that have taken public transportation, yeah, we're a little racist. It's not a race. It's really like, what are you dressing like? And I don't know what that kind of that is. Those of us that take public transportation, I'll reframe it this way. Those of us that take public transportation are closest. If you're dressed in a suit, I'm chill. I'm sitting next to you. If you got your head leaning on the window and this guy looks depressed. You know, I don't want to sit by somebody that looks depressed. I want to be as far as I possibly can from you. I don't want to be anywhere near you, dude. That's a guy that looks like he could do something at some point. Let's see. I mean, there's you know, like this old lady right here who was like sitting during the whole thing. She looks chill to sit by. You know, it's like I want to be around people that I feel like that if something goes down and they try to attack me, I can defend myself very easily. Shocked they didn't say he was MAGA since he was wearing a red hoodie. Yeah, exactly. He probably did. As he did, he was like, "This is MAGA country." Never turn your back. Chi-town rule, dude. Never turn your back, dude. Never, never, ever, ever. And again, this is a guy that ran through Caprina Green when I went to school. Okay, I sprinted through Caprina Green, and that was when Caprina Green was still up before Democrats decided to bulldoze the whole thing. I had a thing where I served underprivileged children on Tuesday nights in Chicago because it was forced by my university that I was a part of to give back to the community. And I had to run through Caprina Green at like 9 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, and I sprinted. I sprinted through that. And I remember black people laughing like, "Look at that white boy run." I don't care. Dude, when it comes to your life, have no shame. Have no shame. I think the craziest thing to me is I've seen this video or this photo being passed around about this chick saying the murdered Ukrainian girl had a Black Lives Matter poster hanging on her bedroom door. So here's the Ukrainian chick that got killed, and apparently she has a BLM Black Lives Matter on her wall, and also it says "I can't breathe." They didn't circle that part. And so I'm seeing like posts of like, "Oh well, you know, she had a comment." Like, that's crazy. That's actually nuts. That's actually nuts. But that is depressing. That's a reality in itself. Again, the media narrative spinning people, the low IQ minds, to believe certain things. So this little breakdown that I found from the judge and the mother of this guy is absolutely insane as well. This breakdown of what of this interaction between the judge and the mother is crazy. Oh, I feel better now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, she had Black Lives Matter? Oh, okay. Now I don't feel as bad. That's crazy, dude. Dude. The internet is killing our minds on human race, on humanness. Today we learned that DeCarlos Brown's mother, she spoke to Hunt Sanks, saying she's not making any excuses for her sons, but said what he did was atrocious, it was horrible, and it was wrong. The point of her speaking was not to make her son out to be some kind of victim. He's not. She says she wanted to go speak about the arrest to highlight how the system failed and how things got to this point. Oh yeah, and it is the system, but it's the system of not locking this dude up forever. Another great show. Hey, thanks so much, Raul. With Brown not yet appearing before the judge and police largely quiet, this is a local reporter, by the way. This isn't just some random X account. This is a local reporter from Charlotte. With Brown not appearing before a judge and police largely quiet about the details of what happened, Brown's mother provides more context of how things escalated to this point, where Iryna Zarutska was randomly stabbed to death on the light rail. As previously reported, Brown served more than 5 years. Brown, the guy that stabbed her, served more than 5 years on an armed robbery charge. When Brown was released from prison, Brown's mom says he started saying weird things. She says she got Brown evaluated, but his behavior became aggressive, so she got him involuntarily committed order from the courts. He was placed under psychiatric monitoring for 2 weeks and diagnosed with schizophrenia. But after he was released, she says Brown became so aggressive, she had to kick him out, and he became homeless. Yeah, that happens. In January, Brown was arrested for misusing the 911 system. Police say that he called the hospital and claimed that someone gave him a man-made material that controlled when he ate, walked, and talked. Despite his criminal past and homelessness, Magistrate Teresa Stokes allowed him to be released from jail on a written promise to appear. In court last month on this charge, his public defender questioned Brown's mental capacity. Judge Roy Wiggins ordered a forensic evaluation. Brown's mom said that the court should have never let her son be out in the community knowing he had mental health issues and previous arrests. So constant arrests. Who's Brown? Oh yeah, Brown is the killer. CMPD's community policing team was well acquainted with Brown. They encountered him 3 times in 2024 and referred to him as to a resource each time. So he was seen by government officials. He was seen by the community. He was, quote unquote, helped by the state. But of course, the state didn't actually help him. They just perpetuated the problem or passed the problem down. And that's the big part for me, is these like libtards think like if we just put more money in these systems that things like this wouldn't happen. 100% they would happen. Because you guys like to push problems down the path. You don't actually want to fix anything. You want the next thing. Okay, we're on the next thing. CMPT did not answer my questions when asked about what these resources were that they were given to him and if he accepted any of them. If police have any resource they keep encountering. So the thing about these resources too, because he's an adult and there's like all this like woke crap about schizophrenia and bipolar and these like kinds of things, they'll just like pass the buck on and say, well, he declined to receive these services. It's absolutely crazy. Yana, she's so crazy. You know, if Miss Brown kicks you out of the house, you got to have some serious issues. Exactly. Okay, but this is like, this part even gets even crazier. So the Charlotte City Council women and men that were talking about this issue during a council members' night, they were talking about the fatal stabbing of Iryna Zarutska, and they were going around and talking. And they talked a little bit about it. It was a whole packed house for the safety briefing. City Council meetings is underway. Joe Burno reports. They're starting by discussing an MOU in Mecklenburg Transportation Authority, which will be created by a sales tax. So they started talking about sales tax, and then it passed, blah, 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 blah. And before they talked about this horrible incident that happened on their public transportation, they decided to take a break. And so they took a break before they decided to talk about this horrible incident that's sweeping the nation. You know, probably their biggest issue that they need to address. They took a break for cake. They had to take a break for cake because it was somebody's birthday. The Charlotte Council people took a break before discussing this horrible event that's sweeping the nation to eat cake. That's crazy. They don't care at all. Before we get to the murder of that Ukrainian chick, by the way, we all support the Ukraine war. We all support Ukraine in the war. Before we talk about that, we need to eat some cake. Because nothing makes me more hungry for cake than a little bit of murder. I like cake with a side of murder every day of the week if I could. After cake time was over, the Charlotte City Council is starting discussing the fatal stabbing. So after being fat on cake and jacked up on sugar, they finally decided to get down to the bottom of brass tacks. God. What the freak, dude? And then they started talking about combating fare evasion. It's just like these politicians, they honestly don't care about anything. They just don't care. They don't care. Seriously, you don't hate them enough. He identified as a completely sane spiritual seeker. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was a tarot card reader. Swill says, what blows my mind most is about how he has dreadlocks in one of the mugshots and then a shaved head. Dude, I know, dude. How do you go from a shaved head to this? Some of us are struggling to even grow some hair, and this MFer can grow tons of hair. Okay, let's get down to this part. Let's get down to this part right here. Okay, so Axios does a story. About MAGA's stabbing fuels MAGA's crime message. You don't hate the media enough. I mean, you don't hate these people enough. Stabbing fuels MAGA's crime message. Yeah, because it was a horrible crime that should be talked about, I think. Axios goes on the ride. MAGA influencers are drawing repeated attention to violent attacks to elevate the issue of urban crime and accuse mainstream media of undercovering shocking cases. Yeah, New York Times didn't report on this once. You know how many times they talked about Daniel Penny? Over 1,000 times. 100 times. They talked about him 100 times. Don't sue me. New York Times talked about George Floyd 5,897 times, Trayvon Martin 1,100 times, Kilmar Abrego Garcia 56 times, and they haven't talked about her at all. The crazy thing to me is if you go down a little bit bigger, you go down to Axios, the big picture, as if they're like here's this where they like create their own narrative. The big picture. The rising number of surveillance cameras in public spaces, including Charlotte's light rail, has become a big accelerant in these cases. And then they go on the right. The video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media, a visual counterpoint to statistics showing crime decrease. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. The video is easily shared or leaked and can instantly pollinate across social media, a visual counterpoint to statistics showing crime decreases. I know you guys are showing that video of that Ukrainian woman being stabbed, but I just want to say, the crime is actually going down. If you look at the statistics. How about the statistics on repeat of violent offenders? How about those statistics? Nah, we're not gonna talk about those ones. So they're more mad about how this video is going to be all across social media, creating the narrative that crime is actually getting worse. They're so mad that this video is creating a sense in you that you're going to come away with the narrative of, oh, maybe there's more crime than's being actually reported on. Yeah, because remember how they buried this entire story? So how can one not assume this sort of thing logically? Actually, crime's going down. Because people aren't having babies, and that's why the crime's going down. Doesn't feel like it. Those of us that still live in cities don't think crime's going down. A visual counterpoint to statistics, crime decreasing. I mean, you don't hate these people enough. And then there was reports on Wikipedia editors trying to scrub the record clean. I saw videos, pictures being posted everywhere about how on Wikipedia they were trying to scrub this, and there was like some things about it showing like it going away. I did look it up as we see right here. The killing of Iryna Zarutska is fully back in order, but there was some pictures being shared online saying that people are trying to scrub it, which is actually true, which is absolutely nuts. And again, those people that use Wikipedia as their main source, it's sad. Disco says they have to talk about white on black because it's so rare. They have to talk about white on black because it's so rare. It seems to make it seem more common. Yeah. Look, and I get it. I hear this from black people all the time. Okay, if you're going to talk about like black people committing crimes, are we going to talk about white people shooting up schools? Sure, let's talk about that. Oh, wait a minute. I take it back. Wait a minute. I take it back. Yeah, okay, we'll say it's a white thing, and maybe all these white people are on SSRIs. How about we figure that part out, too? Maybe they're all trans, too. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. And then you're like, okay, now let's talk about black people. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. And so this whole Axios article is about how MAGA is raging about this video. I mean, they talked about Elon Musk's response. Elon Musk repeatedly posted about the Charlotte case this weekend for his 225 million X followers. Yeah, as if that's a problem. How could Elon talk about this sort of heinous murder like this? Also commenting on X, White House Deputy Chief Stephen Miller, Trump confidant Charlie Kirk, Trump best friend Charlie Kirk, Trump's bestie Charlie Kirkies, Senate Mike Lee, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. I mean, it's just crazy. They are just like the most evil people. They get mad about the dumbest things. And here's my final point, okay? My final point is I think Democrats actually enjoy like crime. I think they actually want crime. Because they're not actually fixing anything when it comes to crime. These liberals, these leftists, they actually like don't mind crime being high. I mean, here's my case in point right here. You have Canada talking about how if someone invades your house, you should just lay down and take it. Don't actually fight back. Because if you're to fight back, that is actually not a good thing. Listen to this.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call powerless. We urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself.
Yeah, when somebody breaks into your house and shoves a gun down your throat, you should call 911 and do everything you can. We don't want you to be powerless. We don't actually. This is their whole push. They don't want you to shoot these people that come into your house because that's not legally okay. Where I will actually charge you for shooting somebody. It's like these people that like, can you imagine being asleep, sound asleep, and then somebody breaking in your house? You're trying to wake up from like being groggy and in the middle of a weird dream or something, or you're half asleep and you hear something happen. And then you're trying to like be reasonable. Is the guy breaking in actually weaker than me? Is the guy breaking in even have a weapon? Can he defend himself?
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands.
Why is that?
While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive, and be the best witness possible.
Yeah, keep yourself safe and be the best witness possible. When someone breaks in your house, you be the best little witness you can. You be a good little witness. When someone breaks in your house, you be a good little boy. You lay down and you take it. And then you become the best witness you could possibly be.
Till police arrive and be the best witness possible.
Yeah, if the guy that's breaking in your house doesn't kill and murder you and allows you to live, just be the best little witness. And if you die, you die. Okay? If you die, you die. That's your path. Okay? Some of our paths are different. Some of our paths are becoming police chief. Some of our paths are different things. And your path is to die tonight due to a robbery. God, we don't want you defending yourself. We want you weak. And we want you when there's something evil that's happening in your life, we want you to call the police. Call the police. Let the big boys handle it. You're little, you're weak, you're small. You can't think through these sorts of things. We're geniuses. We're the police. We're different than you. We're the police. We're different.
Yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive, and be the best witness possible. This could mean locking yourself in a room away from the perpetrators.
Yeah, go to your safe space. Doesn't all you poor people have panic rooms like me?
Hiding, fleeing the home, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah, flee the home. And if you live in an apartment building and you live on the 3rd floor, jump out the window. A car will keep you safe. Oh. Hey, thanks so much for joining the community or using your community. Thanks so much for being a part of the community, Swell. It means a lot to me, brother. Scared me. I didn't know what was happening.
The home, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary. But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply, as you've just heard.
Yeah, the best defense when somebody breaks into your house is to comply. You take it. And if you have a firearm next to you and you're ready to battle and you've been training this moment for your entire life, don't. Comply. It doesn't matter how weak the offender is or what they look like. Comply. And if the offender has a different color skin than you do, maybe sit down and take a chair and learn from them. Maybe if somebody breaks into your house and has a different skin color than you and has a different perspective on life, maybe take a chair and sit down and listen.
Swill celebrates 10 months of membership. Consider these past 10 months a down payment on a new laptop.
Hey, thanks so much, Swill.
Yo, listen up, cause Trump's back in town. Swill just became a member and he's got the crown. We're talking about huge support, bigly dedication. This guy's a legend, he's got a heart, no hesitation.
True.
Swill's been rocking the chat, causing a stir. His donations are off the charts, making me a star.
Yeah.
He's got more cash than a Trump Tower suite, and he is here to stay, making sure we never retreat. Swill, you're the man of the hour. Your membership's the gift that keeps on giving.
I don't know what that was. Thank you, Swill, for telling everybody you've been a member for 10 months. That means a lot to me, man. Believing in this newscast to hopefully one day become a full-time job. I appreciate you, Swill. It means a lot to me, brother. Canada is so pathetic. It truly is, honestly, the most depressing thing. I know not every Canadian is pathetic, but their politicians, holy crap, man. Some of the weakest men I've ever seen in my life. Just nonstop weakness. Okay. Let's go to my favorite source for right thinking. Trump did go easy on you. Let's see what TikTok has to say about this murder.
The footage of the girl get murdered on the light rail in Charlotte last night.
Yeah.
First of all, trigger warning. Do not watch that unless you are mentally prepared. I didn't seek out that content. My fiance saw the footage on...
Oh, yeah. Blame the men in the relationship.
Twitter/X, where they post just horrific things. It's like, Nicole, this is really bad. Are you like...
I don't go on X. X is like a white supremacist platform. My fiance that I'm dating or currently engaged to is on that platform, and only for reasons to understand what MAGAverse is talking about.
Nicole, this is really bad. Are you like prepared to see this?
Talk to us.
And honestly, I didn't want to see it. That is super traumatizing, like so scary. That's nightmare fuel. But I was like... This is really important for women to understand what people are capable of in order
youths
for us to make sure that we're aware of our surroundings to avoid those situations.
Yeah.
Y'all, this man seemingly picked a random woman who sat in front of him on the rail in a baseball cap and a t-shirt, just like living her life. I don't know for sure, but like it seemed like she
her reflection is men are bad.
Was just coming home from work and decided to jump and violently murder her on the light rail with other people there. And I'm pretty sure I've seen in some articles that this man was like
a repeated offender,
incredibly mentally unwell, which fine, whatever, that's a different topic of conversation, but
fine, whatever. Okay.
Like, where are we safe? Where are women safe?
yeah, exactly.
Because when we dress the way...
Oh, maybe you should think about how you vote.
...that you want us to, we're not safe. When we go in public places during the right times with other people around us, we're not safe. And when I talked about the Charlotte Predator on here before, I felt like I gave us a lot of recommendations on like how to be aware of your surroundings, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what my recommendation is in a situation like that, because if it were me and I just sat down on public transportation, I would not expect, even in those parameters, to get stabbed. I wouldn't expect that. Y'all, there were other people there. Like, it wasn't the middle of the night walking home dead alone on the rail trail. Like, I can't even compute.
I think, like, as silly that is, I think it's important to understand the normie response to this sort of thing is that the normie response to this sort of thing is that women are in danger from men. That's such a dumb take. As if there's like no context to who this person is or where this person comes from, or the fact that he's a repeated offender, or the fact that he's a violent repeated offender and is allowed out. Just no response. Guaranteed Democrat voter. The fact that she says like X is too toxic. You can't handle the truth because people like me are on it. Where are the men and sons safe from Karen's? Yeah, exactly. Baseball. Dude, that baseball thing. That baseball thing over the weekend was nuts to watch it unfold. And watching how somebody like doxed the wrong person, which I knew was going to happen. The minute the whole baseball thing was going on this weekend, I was like, these people are going to dox the wrong person. I just know it's going to happen. And then it happened. And I'm like, God, this is why doxing is so stupid. God, it's just like, you're going to ruin somebody's life and you don't even know if it's the right person. Ugh, just so dumb. So the moral of the story is this for me. Democrats want violence. They want crime because crime makes you look to the state for answers, and the state is your daddy. And just like the Canadian guy said, who is this? The Canadian police chief said that if somebody actually invades your house, you should just submit. Don't actually fight back. We are constantly in this revolving sediment, this push by culture and people above us is don't actually defend yourself. Don't actually get angry at things and ask things to change. Allow the state to change for you. If you have a problem in your life, call the police. Don't fix the solution. That's crazy. That just leads to the police state even more. It's like when Democrats want to take away guns from the individual, it makes the state's power more strong by the day. And they want that. And that's why they take your guns away. They allow these repeated offenders to go out even more, which creates more crime, which creates more probably Batman figures, which would be totally awesome. But it creates this instability where we all scream for the police state. Mama, give us the police state because things are so bad. We want the military to come to our cities. It's like the plan is unfolding. It's crazy. Crazy to watch. What a wild time to watch. And we're all screaming for it. Good night, JR. Thanks, guys, so much for joining me. I hope this hour and 10 minutes has been the best hour and 10 minutes of your life. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown, and I hope you saw it as something different than what's already been pushed everywhere. I hope you found information that I shared tonight different than other people's information. I tried to find as much information as I possibly can, but the moral of the story for me at the end of the day is that you don't hate the media enough because they don't actually care about you, because they would rather report on two kids doing burn skid marks on an LGBTQ flag sidewalk versus an actual woman being stabbed on a subway because it perpetuates racism or some kind of other bullcrap. That's a horrible, horrible life to live. And it's just depressing. Even places like Axios coming out against it when they're supposed to be more moderate. It's just disgusting. Swell says, have a great night, Derek and friends. Be sure to like. Yeah, thank you so much, Swell. Thanks so much for being here. And Swell, thanks so much for being a member. And if you've ever wanted to become a member of this show, just click the link below. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you guys in the morning. Hey, let's have a little morning show. Let's have a little morning cup of tea in the morning. Let's have some fun in the morning.